Welcome back, everybody, to the Talk Shop, Season 5, episode... It's been a while. 10, maybe?
We may as well just say 2020, episode 3.
2020, episode 3.
This is your third
Not
quarter.
the Riot episode and not the follow-up to the Riot episode.
This is your third quarter episode of the shop.
Yes. Exactly.
We anticipate another episode in Q4.
Yeah. Which will, in turn, boost our stock.
An earnings call.
Which will be a recurring meeting.
Yeah.
We got to meet with our...
just lost money.
our shareholders.
Setting up a WebEx.
How's everybody been? It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. Let's make it clear. This is an exciting episode because it's not a special episode. We're not ranking anything.
Yeah.
And yet,
It will be a 5-hour-long episode.
the boys are all together.
Yeah. We're all
Along
here.
with
The beer
the
fairy.
boy that's married to the one boy.
Yeah.
Did you call my wife a boy?
Not like in a term of like a gender, because
Like
this is 2020.
BOI.
Like, yeah, exactly. This guy gets it.
One
This
of-
boy gets
one
it.
of the boys.
All right.
okay.
One of the boys. We got the boys
I don't like
here.
where this is going. My wife is a woman, just so everybody's aware.
All the boys are here, including the boy that you bang when you're not around the other boys.
Yeah.
How much clearer could I be?
Well, I assumed everybody already assumed that we're all screwing each other constantly in between the recordings of episodes.
Yeah.
My wife said no making out this episode
Okay,
because
that
of the
sucks.
Rona.
I was all right. Yeah,
She's
Remember-
like, I know you haven't seen Tom in a while, but you can't.
Support us on Patreon, and you can get video access to the hot action that goes.
And
our OnlyFans
I was gonna say that's OnlyFans.
Onlyfans.com/thetalkshop.
we're e-boys now.
Our very good
Sam
ongoing,
selling bathwater.
our ongoing special 3 boys and a twink.
Yep.
3 bears and a twink. I
and
messed
it's-
up my own joke, and I was 3 bears and a twink. Soon to be 3 bears and 2 twinks. Soon to be 4 twinks and the cream filling.
Explain the last one.
Huh? I don't want to because it's not funny, but I will. I will. Twink sounds kind of like Twinkie.
Twinkie, yeah.
Thank you. And
Oh, okay.
I did not
I
write
see.
this joke prior. It's not like on my hand. I was like, all right, find a way to work in
I'll
the,
finally impress them.
the twink and the cream
It's
filling
all fucking
joke.
sweaty and like melting.
And it just says Twinkie.
Half the joke is the steering wheel from driving here.
Hey guys, something I've been waiting to talk about. Maybe one day we could hang out just for fun. Because I like you guys as friends.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
Just a joke.
Oh, I just got your message. Almost there.
Very cool.
And I was almost here.
Oh, wait.
It was 20 minutes ago.
That was not 20
Is
minutes.
It was, dude. I
Is
looked. I
Fireside
checked
Tom
the
coming
timestamp.
over?
Is he?
He just messaged the group and said, "Let me in, gay boys."
Tell him to come over.
It's like he's here.
Right. How does he know?
Okay, here's the deal. Fireside Tom can come over, but I don't want it to devolve into you showing off some sort of weird root program or video service.
I'm not doing dumb shit.
We got Hellpoint to play, boys.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because
Hellpoint?
I don't know anything about it and I want to be sold.
Oh, it's Dark Souls.
Do you like Souls? I mean, have you ever
Do
actually
you have a
enjoyed
soul?
Have you ever played a Dark Souls game that you liked?
I've never finished one.
What if I told you that there was one
That you
that's
don't have
even buggier, even less accessible, that takes place in space?
That sounds pretty
Is it
good.
harder?
No, it's
No,
actually
it's
way
way
easier.
Okay.
So what's the point even then?
So you can make it hard because you can alter
Play with one
you can-
hand?
When you go into
Yeah.
their equivalent, when you go into their equivalent of bonfires, you can burn items that make the enemy stronger and more difficult. But you can
Interesting.
also power level. You pretty much have full customization of your experience. Really, you
Yeah.
can make it as easy or as hard as you want it
You
to
can
be.
puss out if you need to.
If you need to.
Yeah.
Who needs it?
I do.
Or you're just like me and you power level to 100 because you broke your foot and then threw out your back and don't have anything else to do anyway.
So when you say it's janky, like how janky are we talking?
God.
It's just,
It's a shit show.
it's
Are we talking like Todd Howard jank?
when I was selling it to Coda, because this was another one that I texted him about like 6 a.m. and was like, dude. It feels like a PlayStation 2 game in all the right ways.
Just run
All
through
the right
invisible
places.
walls.
I've fallen through like the world six or 7 times.
Sometimes when you join multiplayer, the whole the graphical interface will freeze and then shift, kind of like an old XP where the window keeps duplicating.
yeah,
Like the refresh is
yeah.
busted.
The
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah, it does that a lot.
Oh, awesome. That sounds pretty great. What other game did that? Was that Rainbow Six? Would that do
Oh,
that?
that game did that.
And it also did like the Crayola graphics.
Vegas 2, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one where it looked like everything was drawn with colored pencil, while as the textures would render.
Oh, no, that's pretty
you
much
first
it.
Loaded
Yeah.
in, everything looked like just absolute crap, and it would slowly get incrementally better over like 2 minutes.
Yeah. it doesn't get better. You just get killed. So
That sounds fun.
the guest will always you can try and kill an enemy, and it'll be like negative 600 HP, and you still won't kill it until the host runs up and hits it, or
Tell who? With the what?
The
the
host.
host. Like
So it's like
host and-
P2P connection.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
It doesn't
So-
run off a server.
No.
The one thing that I would say is actually better about multiplayer though is you don't need an item to join in somebody's game, which is really cool.
You don't
You
need like
just
the
put their
dog
friend-
whistle of
it's
truth.
basically like their friend code on
Yep.
Wii, and you jump in, which is cool that you can just do it.
Also,
infinitely.
can we real quick just address this fact that Nintendo still uses friend codes, which is probably the stupidest way to add friends
It's pretty
to
bad.
anything.
Yeah.
It's like 64 characters.
Yeah, it's like just type. You like.
It's
You'll
so
get a new,
simple.
You'll get a new game, and there will be a pamphlet in there how to play with your friends. You turn it over, it's like simply enter the 48-digit code in this sub menu that you have to dig through half the console to even find, and then they have to accept and type in your 64-digit friend code, and then you type in your 28-digit
And then-
accept friend code.
And then do the 12 rounds of Capscus.
Yes, you have to do prove you're not a robot to us.
This one you get a fall death, and if you're the guest and you fall, you're just stuck there forever until you close the application and reboot.
That's like sometimes that happened in Halo or Mario Kart
Oh,
on
we gotta
Yoshi
talk about
Valley.
Halo. That's on the list for today.
Oh,
Yeah.
Go on.
You remember Yoshi Valley Mario Kart 64?
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes you'd fall down the right part of the canyon and you'd be stuck on the bottom, and the guy wouldn't come and pick you up. So
Yeah.
you just drove around
Yep.
aimlessly, and the race never ended because everybody finished like 9 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of.
That's what I mean. This is like a relic from that generation.
Awesome.
Except it's new.
Is it full price?
30
No,
bucks.
$30.
30 bucks?
Oh, that's not too bad.
All right, I'll consider it.
It's worth it for 30 bucks.
I'd play Broken Trash for $30.
It worked when you play by yourself. Just like always, it's always better when you play by yourself. And then
How's the marriage going, buddy?
not good.
On the rocks.
As usual,
on the rocks.
your flipping self.
Vodka waters. So yeah, no, it works like seamlessly when you're solo.
Nobody crouching in going, when are you gonna be done?
Right. Thanks, Sam.
All right, so we should talk about the elephant in the room.
Halo?
New World of Warcraft expansion.
Oh, that's right.
I know you
Yeah, let's
guys
get
wanna
this out of the
talk.
way. I need to pee anyway.
Already? You just sat down.
I'm an old man.
I just started playing again, and
Oh, very nice.
I remembered how terrible it is until you're level 30. Like you roll a
You
new
started a
character.
new character?
Well, another friend of mine is starting to play now too. So
Fireside Tom?
No, we don't have a nickname for him. His name's
Jamie.
Tyler.
Oh, that guy.
We'll call him
foul
that guy.
temptress.
Yes.
The temptress of games.
So I'm a level 1 goblin wizard.
wow.
Goblins suck, by the way. I
Yeah, they
actually
do.
hate it.
Absolutely.
I hate their starting area. It's retarded.
You're going to have to pay for a race change.
That
20 bucks.
sounds offensive somehow. Can I pay for a race change IRL?
What would you want to be? Answer
Uh,
carefully.
Let me think.
It's too late.
We'll get back to it at the end of this episode.
I'm not gonna forget.
You will.
You put yourself in a hot little waffle iron, and I'm gonna go.
It's
out.
already going to be the what has he learned? I don't know. I'm waiting on Tom to answer the question.
What if I wanted to be a race that doesn't exist?
Then that would be a real easy get out of jail free card on this one. But you have to think of
and it
a
would cost you a lot
non-offensive
of
new
money.
race.
Martians? Is that offensive?
That's horrible.
That's a species, though.
that already exists?
You didn't
But-
want to change
okay,
to
okay,
a
hang on.
species.
Hang on.
Depends on who you ask. Those might be real.
What if?
'Kay.
Hear me out. Humans colonize Mars.
'Kay.
People born on Mars are Martians.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
want to
not
be
a
one of
race.
those.
That's like
It's a different race
It's
than
like being
the
like-
like being in the on Earth.
it's like being a New
How
Yorker.
many?
or
If you went
something.
if you went forward a few generations, you can't be one of the crew that just landed there.
No.
Those are
Yeah.
explorers.
Right.
But wait, 6 cycles through, everybody's dead. The story of the landing is, a statue in the middle of their little museum that nobody ever goes to because public funding is as bad there as it is here.
Yep.
And
It's
one
wall
of those,
to wall, just
yeah.
porno theaters and strip clubs.
Fucking sold.
That's the future I want. No.
People just
I would count that
shitting in the
as a
streets.
different race.
Sam, you would die the week before all that happens.
Because if there's one thing I can promise you is that if that ever happened at that point, there'd be a whole lot of race riots between the Martians and the and
Earthlings.
the Earthlings. It wouldn't take long, Martian lives matter. It would take like
Speaking of, did anyone buy Destroy All Humans or no?
Yeah.
these two did.
Yeah.
I got the plat.
It's what already?
Yeah.
Is it fun? Is it
Yeah,
worth
it's
it?
well.
You
Wait
get
till they
through it.
remake 2, I would say, because they'll definitely. It was super successful. The first one they just released, so I imagine they'll move on to the second one.
They better.
The second one is better in every conceivable way.
Yeah. I remember. I'll never forget that game.
Yeah, it's
on
awesome.
PS2.
Yeah, and then you could like co-op and stuff, and you get like the disco ball gun
Yeah,
or whatever.
I like
was
making
great.
everybody dance. This one they just do like the little
The chicken
fucking-
dance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
nearly as
yeah.
fun.
No, but it is fun to like psychically pick up people and throw them.
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot better.
6 counties away.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
All right. The real elephant in the room. Ghosts of Sushi.
Yeah, buddy.
Anybody in here? There's just me and Sam.
Just you and Sam.
I'm really glad that you like it because whenever I recommend something, it almost feels
Better
like
be
I'm
as
risking
succinct
something.
as our discussion about Destroy All Humans was.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be very long.
No.
we,
I
we said
I
nothing
love
about
it.
WoW.
I
So-
love almost everything about it. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, the entire game. And the combat is excellent. And it's as hard as you want to make it. That's also really cool. And it made me actually use my PlayStation for the first time in like 2 years. So how bad could it be?
If I was going to try to sell it to anybody and I had one sentence, it would be, hey, what if somebody made an Assassin's Creed that didn't suck?
Yeah, I was just
Assassin's Creed 1?
I was
the cut.
How
the
dare you.
was way better
Unskippable
than
cutscenes, like El Mualim talking to you for like 45 minutes.
also the wall climbing sucked.
It was
Oh,
real
it was-
slow.
It was revolutionary for its time.
It
I
That's
think
true.
I think the first Assassin's Creed is the only one I've ever played all the way.
2 is
2 was
pretty good. It gets stupid at the end.
The I was talking to a friend of mine while playing that Ghost of Tsushima,
Mhm.
and I was saying like, if I was Ubisoft, I'd be pissed off
Yeah.
that these people rolled up and just ate my lunch before, because they've done like every setting possible except for like feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Well, they're all samey. You have the same mini map. It's cluttered with the same amount of icons,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter what game. It's Far Cry,
But
Assassin's
you're
Creed,
just buying a setting.
even Ghost Recon's like that now.
Yeah, you're just like Ubisoft. They make all the same games. You're just buying the setting.
Yeah.
So like you're buying like I want to be a pirate or
Yep.
whatever, right?
Mhm.
So like that was one of the only ones that was untouched. Is the one of the only games they hadn't made yet, and now they can't.
Oh, they still can.
Or-
They will. I'm
it
sure they
be
will.
worse.
They're making a Viking one in the face of God of War, which is super ballsy.
That's true. But I would
Is that
say
the ice cream truck?
I think so.
Purge alarm.
Oh, they're starting already. I thought it was.
I
a
would
little
say
later.
that Ghost of Tsushima is way more adjacent to an Assassin's Creed game than God of War was.
They do a lot of really good things. They take away the minimap and the towers and stuff like that, and you're
Yeah.
guided by the wind.
There's like no HUD.
Pretty much everything you find is
That's how I live my
color-coded.
life already.
So you recognize
You're guided by the wind. What?
That's how I get to
Yeah.
work in the morning.
When you set a waypoint on the map, you're like, I want to go here. The wind just sort of subtly blows in the direction that you have to go instead of having
Instead of having
like
a giant gold
I don't know
arrow.
if I would call it subtle. It's like,
Like
a
Crazy
giant
Taxi.
string of white lines
It's,
that like point a
it's subtle-
direction.
It's subtle unless you do the thing on the controller to
Yeah.
make it more prominent. But
When you
like
shake the
it's,
controller.
it's enough to follow it if all you did was just kind of pay attention and look around.
That's kind of cool.
Sounds
it's
pretty
super
stupid
cool.
if you.
There's
ask
a
me.
lot of really cool, like if you like that idea, there's that kind of touch up on every aspect of the game to bring it up to level. And whoever did the art design for this, the team that did the art for it, they like had the mission of every panel, every second you're playing should be a painting.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like it's actually like a beautiful game. Like and
It's I think probably the prettiest game I've ever played. It's so cool.
It's going to be a sale game for me.
and honestly, the only fault that it really has is the story is really boring, and that.
Yeah, the story is not good.
And because of
Okay.
that, it's a game that I've kind of fizzled out on a little bit. I'm probably about halfway through it, and I haven't turned it on in a long time. Because I feel like all these games, these open world games, and my biggest problem with them, which is
Is that they're
everybody
open
knows I
world.
don't like open world games. You get to a point and you know that you've seen everything, and that the back half is just going to be doing those things again, probably in a more stressful environment.
Sure, yeah. The one thing, my biggest complaint is that you can't necessarily go anywhere. Have you tried to hit an area that's like for a main quest later, and it says like warning, you're entering a something
Hostile
like
work
overwhelming
environment.
enemy forces. or
Yeah, I
whatever.
have seen that. Yeah.
And then if you try to go anyways, the game just spawns like invisible archers that shoot you arrows from nowhere until you die.
Yeah.
That's
like
pretty
the old
stupid.
ATV
Super
games
annoying.
where you
Or
go
that's
up
like-
over the wall and it launches
Going
you.
back to Mario Kart 64, it's like that DK Jungle map where you drive into the woods and then they just whip coconuts at you.
Oh yeah,
It's the same thing.
Truly,
it's
Mario.
just like Mario Kart.
It was way ahead of its time, is what I'm getting at. Truly, there was never a game quite as influential as Mario Kart
Certainly
64.
not.
I don't think that. No, there hasn't been. I can't think of one.
What's like the Citizen Kane of games? Is there even one?
Last of Us.
Yeah, that's what people would say.
That's what the quotes were.
I
when
would
it came
say
out.
Dark Souls.
You
Last
don't
of Us
say.
is so not good.
Have we ever talked about Dark Souls before?
This
Let's
is a
talk
Dark
about
Souls
Breaking
Ghost
Bad.
podcast.
I was gonna say it's like the Breaking Bad of video games. You can't stop talking about it.
But I'll tell you what, Hellpoint, going back to what this whole, because we've
Yep.
bounded through our video game conversation here, which is keep making me very interested in what we talk about for the rest of the episode.
Lysol.
This is it. It's done. See you later, guys. I'm going to play Hellpoint.
Hellpoint might actually move me to write my first article for the site, Tom. And that's that because it's not a
Content.
it's not a great game, but it's a fantastic Souls game, and I want to break down what makes a good Souls game.
There you go.
And I think Hellpoint is a fantastic central piece explaining what makes a good one versus a bad one. Because I've played just about every Souls like that's come out on the market, and some of them lose my interest in 5 minutes. And then there's ones like Hellpoint that I become weirdly obsessed with and min-max my character and run around just shooting stuff.
What's
me-
the best non-From Software Souls-like game that you've played?
They really have cornered the market, as it
No, I'm
were.
kidding.
So there's going to be a certain amount of
What about From
confirmation
Ashes
bias.
or whatever? From the Ashes? Ashes?
Oh, Remnant from the
From
Ashes.
Ashes to
Yeah,
New.
yeah.
That's a really good one. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for fun co-op gameplay, Remnant from the Ashes is fantastic.
It
if you want to
works.
basically experience
It
Dark Souls
works.
again, but in space, Hellpoint is fantastic. Can you think of another one?
Neo 2 is really good.
The gameplay is good, but see, that was Neo is
It's
almost
that-
going to be
that's
like
not
the
a story
counterpoint
thing,
to what
though.
makes a bad one, though,
Oh, really?
because the
Yeah.
enemies are repetitive. You never really feel like you're growing.
Yeah, not past whatever.
Yeah.
Like the initial.
You never feel like you've accomplished anything in Neo. That's their biggest.
It's
like-
just another level.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Doom. Oh my God, have we talked about Doom?
we
Yeah,
talked
we
about
did.
Doom last
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked
episode.
it for
Yeah.
yeah. Doom lore.
You
But-
have to be allowed to outsmart the game. That's one of the key things that I think makes a good Souls. Is it has to start out feeling overwhelming, but you have to be able to
Come back and
you,
one shot.
you have to be able to overcome it and come back and be an unstoppable beast.
Right.
Killing machine. Killing spree. Speaking of killing spree, running riot, Kilimanjaro. Halo
Yes.
got delayed.
So
Can you believe it?
How do you fuck that up? How
The
do you
graphics
have
look
like
terrible.
10 years to make a console and you can't make a game to launch with it?
Yeah. It doesn't even, like Jack just said, it doesn't look particularly good.
No.
Looks
So-
like Halo 1.
Well,
That's
that's
definitely
the
what they're trying to
idea,
do.
But there better be something technically impressive about it. Like that entire Halo ring, you better be able to go to with no load screens. If they're gonna have graphics like that, it has to have something like you can't do on current gen consoles.
It can literally run on 2 gigs of RAM.
I was laughing because
Fine.
like if you look at what they did, and they were trying to sell like the entire console and everything on this new Halo. Is it Halo Infinite? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
They're like, this is what you need this console for. It's Halo 1 with slightly updated graphics. You have a very annoying sidekick who whines about you going to shoot things.
Oh,
Because everybody wants that in their badass game.
Stop
Yeah.
putting sidekicks in games in general.
Is the
Yeah.
guy who's like, no, I want to escape. Don't go out there. That is great. And a grappling hook. And the grappling hook's been in everything lately.
yeah, people love the hook
It is
shot.
pretty
man.
cool though.
So I'm not saying it's a bad mechanic, but if you're trying to sell an entire console
On a grappling.
on a grappling on an already outdated piece of gaming tech, like why is that what you
People were
choose?
hyped when that was for the new Doom game. They're like, well, you can like shoot it into a demon and then punch him in the eye.
But at the same time,
But it
Doom
cost-
hasn't been revolutionary in a long time.
That costs like 6 shells. to
and
do it,
nobody
too.
nobody
Yeah.
was trying to sell a console with Doom.
That's true.
Oh my God.
I missed the hook
That'll
shot.
make me go
You had to
back.
pull it out of your inventory, pause the entire game, and aim it. Remember that
Zelda?
stealth mission in Ocarina of Time where you're in the Gerudo
yeah.
camp, and you if you miss the hook shot and you land on the wrong side of the roof, the guard will see you, and then you go start back at the beginning again. That's a bullshit game for dumb idiots. That's my hot take of the night.
How dare you?
I like to just kill a conversation. Just like I did.
I don't have a lot to say about that. I've still never finished a single Zelda game.
I don't think I have. I never even bought a new one.
Breath of the Wild.
That's good though.
That one is really good.
It's an alt.
It's like an actual sandbox. Like they just dump you in a sandbox with a bunch of toys and you just figure it out. They don't point you in any direction specifically. You happen upon things naturally. It's awesome. It's not.
I could use the Switch more. That's like the thing I've used the least.
You play Animal Crossing?
I have it. I don't play it.
I still don't get Animal. I still do not conceptually understand.
I didn't not enjoy it. I just had no like urge or compulsion to play or go back to it after like 10 days.
It's like almost like a mobile game. It's
Well,
something to
also
pick up for
during Easter,
like 10 minutes. Oh yeah.
Which was like
don't get me
One
started.
of the most triggering. Like it was so like you can't. I'm just fucking drowning in Easter eggs. I can't go anywhere.
Look at the size of this fish. It's another fucking egg.
I'm like busting through like 400 fishing rods,
It's all eggs.
just trying to grind fish and get money.
Eventually
right?
they nerfed it. So
Just this week, I had a buddy at work try showing me Animal Crossing,
Oh yeah.
and I've given it like I'm down to try anything, but it has to look intriguing on some level. And I've tried a few times to kind of get it some sort of access point to Animal Crossing. My buddy at work shows it to me, and he's like, "All right, man, you ready?" He boots it on. It looks
Are
really.
you ready?
It looks really good on Portal. He didn't like say that. He's not an autist. He wasn't like, "Get ready." It wasn't like a '90s magazine ad commercial where we were looking at this arcade game. It wasn't like that.
2, 1, start.
But he turned it on, and he's just like, "All right, so this is my house." And then he's like walking around, and he's like, "I pick up some shells.
People,
and
like-
I pick up some sticks."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? Why?"
The last thing I want to do is watch somebody play it. There's nothing. That's like watching paint dry. Is what that is.
That is
And
how it
people
felt.
feel really attached to their little dumb little island, and they want to show it off to people, but nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see your stupid island. Stop trying to show me your dumb island. All of Reddit for a while.
But
Check out
your
my
island,
island.
But you love your island. Just hate everybody else.
What? Hang on.
We got
Any of us here,
we got a hot take.
the beer fairy. I'm just kidding. That's not your nickname.
It
could
is.
be. Yeah, it's a beer fairy. Played more Animal Crossing than anybody here. Do you like looking at other people's islands? Like if someone's insistent that you look at their island, if they're insisting you see it, are you excited by that? Exactly. Oh yeah. So and some of them are like more autistic than your average Minecraft server, where they're just like retardedly the time that it would take to do this all. Actually, there's so many exploits for the game too. That's another point.
Also,
It's broken fundamentally.
It's quite grindy for a very casual game. Like there's some
You can
things-
just jump the clock forward and back.
Yeah, but there's some
Unlimited
things,
money.
It's like, I remember, like one of the last things I did was where you get all of the plots ready so other people can move in.
Yep.
And it's like all of the things.
Oh, the furniture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a pain.
It was a huge
so
pain in the ass.
annoying.
Yep.
Yep, this has done nothing to move me.
Also, you can only craft one thing at a time. You
buying
can't.
If
Animal
anything,
Crossing.
it's negative now.
Yeah.
All the animations take forever.
It's
That gets annoying.
classic Nintendo BS.
It's like, hey, I want to dig this thing. There's like something sparkling in the ground that you want to dig out. It's like, oh, I want to dig. It takes like 14 seconds every time to do anything like that.
It's not like I don't get why this game has been enormously successful in the age of COVID.
Well, it came out
It's
at
a great
the perfect
escape.
time.
It's a great escape
they
from
made
it.
$1 trillion. With
And it even lets you be like a
$1
little bit
a
social.
$1 billion.
Like, I understand why it works. I just also understand that that's not my particular brand of escapist fantasy. Like, it's just not.
You don't want to relive
Space
Castaway?
Hell.
If
I
Castaway was... I can't think of anything
Castaway?
clever.
I just watched that movie.
If it was a
like,
little
last
bit
month.
more, because like
a
I
good
really
movie.
like Harvest
Wilson.
Moon, and I really liked
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley.
This has
This doesn't
less
look quite like the
intrigue
same thing.
or less interesting stuff to do than
Yeah.
Stardew Valley does.
Like, if I'm going to escape to a happier, nicer place, Stardew Valley's probably going to be where I go.
I think that's my most played game on my Switch. Played a lot of that game. Not for a while, but
What you do is you go to... Who's the artist chick? Penny? Is that her? You give her salads. You get married. She waters your crops. Easy
Give her
peasy.
salads. She's like
That's her favorite food.
You just give her a salad.
Actually, what you do is you start out with a small patch of the highest yielding crop. You slowly build your resources over a couple of seasons and eventually have automatic sprinklers that do all of your
All right.
watering through your massive
Yeah.
fields for you.
If you're min-maxing Stardew
And
Valley,
then the game begins.
I thought you said
that's when it really
Sam,
starts.
7 hours in.
Sam, I thought you said your coworker wasn't an autist.
That was me.
That was
I made no
unfiltered.
promises about me, Corey. It's been hotly debated before.
No.
All right.
Just because I can recognize happy and sad with about a 60% efficacy doesn't mean that I'm not off the scale.
We were talking about this before the podcast started. I'm changing gears entirely away from
Yeah.
video games.
All right.
We're going pure talk shop
We're going
nonsense. How ridiculous is it? You know those hang gliders with the big fans in the back?
Oh yeah.
This
you
is
can
what I sent
just
you.
buy one of those. You don't need a license,
Mhm.
a pilot's license or anything, and you can just fly around wherever you want.
Have you been watching those YouTube videos?
I saw one
along.
I
I know
a while
exactly
ago.
what you're talking. There's this one where this guy flies to McDonald's to get a burger.
I've
and
seen
stuff.
that.
Dude, tell me you didn't want to buy one the minute you watched that.
How is it? Every single person I know has seen that video,
Because
and it doesn't have like
It's ridiculous.
it doesn't have like 2 billion views,
because it's hella cool.
but like 20 people have been like, "Yo, you seen this video of this dude?"
We're all like-minded, I guess, in some way or another.
It's crazy to me. Like, I knew that it was a thing and that people had them, but Tom told me like just earlier today, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can just buy one."
They're about $10,000.
No, there's nothing stopping me from owning one and just flying around.
Mhm.
I don't have to like.
They don't go high enough to like interfere with plane traffic.
I don't have to have any sort of inspection or get any sort of a licensure or anything. I just fly around. That's so bonkers.
You can just buy
to
all the
me.
materials and build it yourself.
Yeah,
No problem.
just some Wright brothers shit.
Yeah. Also, you know what taking your life into your own hands looks like? There's
What's
a guy who was at my family's church, and he built his own airplane. He just built it. He did all the programming for the console and everything, like from scratch.
That's the guy who
building.
who secretly wants to be dead.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just building pretenses to die in an
That's the
accident.
most confident man that has ever lived.
The
He's
most
just like,
complicated suicide of all time.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna build an airplane.
That's like
and
the guy who
trust
built the. Have you guys?
That's
If we're
some
talking
Bruce
about
Wayne
videos
shit.
that we've seen, have you guys seen the video of the flat earther that launched his own
Oh, the
rocket?
steam
to go
rocket?
into the-
Yeah.
He just pancakes into the ground.
Yep.
Surprise! Through the surprise of no one.
You know what the best part about that is?
Hmm.
He probably got high enough to see the curvature of the Earth, and his last seconds were not only that he was horribly wrong with everything he believed, but also that he was going to pay the ultimate price for
I'm
his
not. See,
hubris.
I thought
He
it
flew
was
too close
because you
to the
can just
sun,
Google
literally.
pictures of the Earth from like the ISS.
Yeah,
No, that's see,
faked though.
that is fake.
No. But this is what I'm saying. Even from orbit, it doesn't look particularly real. Like you have to go really far away before you can see like any reasonable area of the before you can really see it. I'm saying even from the ISS, it looks relatively flat. Like you can see that it is curved, but like he's saying that that's faked, right?
Yeah.
So he has to go almost or about that high to actually see what it actually looks like. Because even according to the faked footage, that's barely high enough to see a curve.
Also,
That's what I'm saying.
my favorite thing is like in the artistic renderings for flat Earth stuff. It's not literally like a flat like a disc. It's like a slightly curved. So
Yeah.
they believe a little bit of a curve,
It's almost
but
like
it's impossible for it to be a ball.
it's like a cone. Like
Yeah.
it's flat on top and then it like hits like underneath the
Yeah.
earth.
It's
You know what
like,
I'm
are we
talking
floating
about?
on a meteor?
Yeah, it's
what is this
super
Gundam wing?
I love the image of the Antarctic like going around. The earth like holding all the water in. Do you know what we're talking about?
I've seen renderings.
Yeah, like the pictures of what they think the flat Earth looks like,
Yeah.
where there's just like an ice wall around the entire Earth.
So like, so really, those people that like the South Pole workstations are just they're keeping all the oceans in. Like that's what they're down there for.
yeah,
They're building ice dams all around the entire disk to make sure the oceans just don't flip off and go into space.
I always approach those kinds of things with just like a basic curiosity. I think just the easiest questions are the first ones you should ask. Why? Right?
Mhm.
So like, what does anybody gain from lying about having a round Earth? Have they ever said what there
Big
is
globe.
To, like,
Big
what does
globe
that-
company.
What does that get? What does that give?
They
them?
get money from selling globes.
Oh, like literally, like the
They
people
could
that
just sell
sell
discs.
globes to like third grade class.
Yeah.
You know how much money
They're
they
the
make?
actual most
Those things
powerful
are like
shadow organization.
know how
those things are like
powerful-
$60 a pop.
Do you know how powerful the cartography
Multiply that by
union
every
is?
third grade classroom in the nation, and that's no small chunk of
Yeah.
change. Big globe. That's what it is.
A small subsidiary of Pfizer. It's like I was out driving around town today, and Cloquet had a big Trump parade. Like, I guess they'd planned it.
A parade?
That like it was a bunch of people just got together with their Trump flags and decided to march around and get horns honking and everything like that. I'm not gonna go on a huge tirade. What I'm gonna say, you want to know what annoys me the most when I'm driving by this, is that their signs aren't just like "We love Trump," whatever. It's stuff like "We will not be silent anymore." And no more oppression.
You've never been accused of being silent. Let
And
me
I just,
assure
like,
you.
Everybody, close your eyes and think of the biggest Trump supporter you know. Are they demure? Are they shy? Are they?
I like the $12 word.
Are they smacked in the face whenever they mention that? No, they're some of the loudest, most obnoxious people. This victim complex that these
Yeah.
people have, where they're just like,
I think it's a thing. I think people use it as a reason for why they need to be so loud. Because if you look at like how much of an ideologue anybody is about anything, like the more of an ideologue they are, the more of a victim they think they are. And it's like, it doesn't matter what the thing is about. Like the louder someone yells about a thing, the more they think they're being, or the more they think they're not allowed to say
I'm
that
being
thing.
oppressed.
there's just this weird paradox. They're supposed to be like the strong party and
Sure.
the eat bacon and grits and, you know, we love old school America and we don't have time for none of you weak snowflakes.
I
But
have
at
a-
the same time, they're like, I hate this oppression. I won't be silent anymore.
I have a hot take.
I'm a victim.
Uh-oh.
Grits aren't that good.
I hate grits. Legit.
I don't know what those people are smoking. Grits are not
You
good.
gotta
I think you had to be raised with. It's got to be like
You
a
gotta put
comfort
some-
thing from
you
a
gotta
young
put
age.
some butter on there.
I'm sure you can make
little salt
anything
and
less
pepper.
bad with a bunch of butter.
Yeah, that's like a
That's all of Southern cooking.
that's actually
Smear
legit.
butter all over it and
Yeah.
fry the shit out of it and then eat it. Fried okra.
Fair.
It was green once.
fried okra.
It might have
Okay.
resembled something
That's a good
healthy at
point.
one
That's a
point.
good
point. Got a lot
And
of
they're
fried
like, we're
okra.
gonna fry this bitch up and eat her down, cover it in butter.
That's a good point. How's the lockdown treating everybody?
Yeah.
If I have to sit through another conference call, I'm gonna blow my brains out.
Dude, it's so much better being in meetings in my house. Cause it's like,
Is it though?
because I'm in all the same meetings where people are talking about all the same dumb shit. And I can just mute my mic and just walk around my house with my headset on and just do whatever I want.
Right.
That's true.
Have you ever played drums while you were in a meeting?
No.
That would be amazing.
That I haven't done. Because I haven't thought of doing it, but there's nothing stopping me.
What do you think about this, Corey?
Imagine if your mute slipped off for even just.
Sam, I don't trust mute functions on anything. I always double mute.
Yeah, me too.
I have the mute
Yep.
on my headset, and then I have the mute in whatever
I
program.
always
like,
do that too.
like Teams or whatever.
yeah, I'll have like because I'll like vape during meetings,
Mhm.
and I'll have it muted in Teams, and then I'll lift it up to my face, and they'll be like, and then I hardware mute too on the headset,
Yeah.
and then I do it.
I think mic etiquette should be the law, and violators should be imprisoned.
Holy shit.
I use it as an excuse all the time though, because I'll tell you why. We'll be in some call with somebody. They ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
so like me and my team or whatever, and nobody jumps on the question, so it's just silence.
Isn't it wonderful?
So then I always like, okay, I guess I'll answer,
Yeah.
and I turn my mic. Sorry, I was muted there when I'm not.
No, I'm talking about people who leave their mic on.
Oh yeah, that's
People
much
who
worse.
don't mute their microphones, people who don't realize that, hey, this is a thing that can hear everything happening in the room that you're in and probably on the whole floor of the building that you're on.
There's what.
People who have like their kids playing Hot Wheels and like 14 dogs barking
hmm Well,
should be in jail.
also
and
there's-
who don't mute their mics. Like
there's-
if you have to, like if that's going on in your house and you can't stop it, whatever, you got to answer a question, fine. But just leaving your mic open for like 28 minutes of just like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids happening behind you
yeah.
without stop is not acceptable.
Also, one thing that infuriates me, there will be like some meetings where everybody has their camera on and stuff. The person's clearly wearing a headset.
Mm-hmm.
They have not switched their device in either Teams or Skype, and it's on the laptop mic. The sound quality is trash.
Yeah.
And then when they go to type, it sounds like there's an earthquake happening. It's like, and and then they're trying to talk through that while they're typing too, and it's just
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Nobody heard that, and no one will ever hear that unless you change your headset.
Yeah.
Have any of y'all ever been in a pre-recorded WebEx where they tell you that your center is closing and you're losing your job?
They did it pre-recorded.
They did.
That
my
is pretty savage.
God.
There will be no questions. Click.
Is that actually what it ended with?
God.
There will be no questions.
There will be no time for questions
That's like
after this. Something
is that
to
like the
effect.
kiss of death?
Yeah.
They're just like,
That was
There
like
will be no
This
questions.
is not,
Maybe
this
you
is not
should-
negotiable.
Maybe you should fill in the podcast audience.
Yeah, so I've had a pretty wild few months. I don't want to appear like I'm looking for sympathy or anything like this. So I'm just gonna tell it legit.
Classic
oh,
Sam.
boo-hoo, Sam.
Sam lost his job.
So I think I mentioned it last episode.
Damn.
I got promoted into management. I was going to be given a clinic to be in charge of. It was the closest I've come to feeling proud of myself in like 20 years. And
fuck.
that should have been my first clue that something was wrong.
Oh no.
I woke up smiling once. That should have been.
And now
The
you
end
must
is
pay.
coming.
I should have known that the wrath was coming.
I feel suspiciously
You should have
good
known
today.
that God wouldn't stand for that.
I kid you not. I was at a wedding, and somebody asked me like, "How you doing?" And I literally, this was right before all this happened. I was like, "I'm doing really good," and that scares me because like I'm kind of just waiting for the bad thing to happen.
There it was.
So I transferred from one clinic to another so that I could manage it, and spent a ton of time learning a bunch of stuff and getting things ready to open it. 3 days before we opened, there was the WebEx recording that said, "Hey, by the way, we're closing a certain number of stores across the country. Yours is one of them. You know, bye." And
So it hadn't even opened yet.
no, well, it was temporarily closed during COVID. It closed. We consolidated to another clinic.
Okay.
And
was
then
there
we
like
were-
Teflon still on everything? Like everything's like brand new? Right
No,
out
it'd
of the
been
box?
open for a couple years before that.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
two clinics merged into one?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fudge was that fudging thing that just
They
fudging
merged into the
happened?
clinic that I was working
Fudge.
at as a nurse. So I was working at one clinic as a nurse. The other clinic merged into ours.
Oh, okay.
Then I got hired to manage the other one. Then I was putting together a team. I hired a bunch of people, a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
and then found out that it's not opening at all.
There will be no questions.
And then it was like, yeah, you're going to be like unemployed kind of thing. And since then, a lot of stuff has happened. And it looks like I'll be employed come October.
That's
We'll
good
see.
news.
We'll see.
That's an update. That's great.
Which is good because honestly, I've had a real wake-up call. I either really need to have an expert look over my resume or something. I've put out about 15 applications. This is as a nurse, which is like supposed to be the most employable field that there is.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a single call.
Not one?
Not one, man.
Holy crap.
And I know it's because Accenture just laid off 300,000 people.
They laid off half the country.
Yeah.
Accenture just laid off 1.5 billion people. And I know there's layoffs happening everywhere.
That's just, all right. We'll revisit something. After
And I
some
know
time.
that there's a lot of people in line to get hired and a lot.
Man, it was like, that was a real dark cloud to be living under for like a month or 6 weeks or however long it was, where it's like,
Because it was coming for you?
We know that they're going to be cutting some people and we have no idea who it's going to be. And
Yep.
like, I'm so fortunate to still have a job.
This one came out of nowhere, but I will say that when I was learning P&Ls, is that something that like, is that I'd never heard it before. Is that a phrase that either any of you have heard before?
Practicing nursing license.
No, it's profits and losses. It's just it's like a management term. And
Manager.
the first time I looked at it,
May I speak to your manager?
it was like it was like the nail in my own coffin, right? I looked at it with my boss and I was just like, weird. This place is losing less money than it does when it's open.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
And I remember I went and I told everybody, I was just like, this makes no sense. Why would they open it back up when clearly it's saving them money leaving it closed? Well, it turned out that, if somebody like me can walk off the street and see it, chances are everybody up the people who have
This doesn't make any
devoted their
sense.
careers to it probably have noticed it too.
Yep.
There will be no questions.
But yeah, there will
That's
be no
rough.
question.
At least when they did the layoffs where I work, like at least people had it done to their face live. That would be rough to just like get a pre-recorded call. That's rough.
Hello, this is your boss. You are
Yeah,
fired.
It's like a robot like phone system voice too.
These
Press
are
1 to cry.
These are
Press
definitely
2 to storm
unprecedented
out
times.
and try to steal something.
If you are Sam, Press 1. You're fired.
Well, what was really cool was because we're kind of merged. It's not cool. It's actually, I'm not going to get too much into it because hopefully we'll still be employed with this overall organization coming next month. So I'm not going to say what I shouldn't say.
Sure.
What
They're listening.
Please
What
do.
I am going to say is that the next day I got to listen into the call for the stores that weren't closing, and it was almost exactly the same,
There will be no questions.
except it still said that at the end.
Oh, no.
But it was, we will be losing this many stores. This will not be one of them. But we do want you to know that we will be reevaluating the future.
Oh,
You know,
shit.
all these kinds of things.
They're
Damn.
like
It might be coming.
grand overlords. Deploys the propaganda machine.
Yeah.
You will be losing 19 stores, and you will be expected to pick up the slack.
Minnesota lost half
Half.
of their locations.
Was it like the Joker? Like, how much money do you want? Half?
It really felt like the Red Wedding or like the Snap. Like, just like, because, you know, I've just spent the last 3 months traveling all around and meeting all these people. And like, I just got invested enough to be sad now. that they're all
Yeah.
getting let
I
go.
don't feel so good, Mr. Center.
That's what I did to one of the buddies I worked with. I like stumbled in. I was just like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's all good. Like I said, I think it's, you know, I've been working really hard. I did take responsibility for my team, especially the people that I hired within the last month. I took that pretty hard. It was like somebody letting me collect, like giving me a bag and going to a pet store and being like, okay, pick the puppies you like the most. And you spend a lot of time and energy on it because it's like your first team that you've hired. And then like the second you get your bag, like you're walking out and they're like, they hand you a handgun and they're like, all right, shoot him in the face.
What the fuck?
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
It's what it felt like. I'm just telling you what it felt like. They're all still alive.
It's the hammer, too. The single action.
So I think I found jobs for most of them, and I'm working really hard on keeping them because fortunately we're owned by like one of the biggest places on the planet, like one of the biggest overall.
Disney.
Time Warner.
May as well be. And I think I've more or less got them all sorted out. Still working on a few, but
The moles? Is that what you said?
the moles.
I got the moles figured out.
We got a major mole problem in all these clinics.
Well, I'm
we
glad
need someone to go smash him with a bat.
Jesus
I'm glad
Christ.
there's a positive update, Sam.
Huh?
I said I'm glad there's a positive update.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I've got
Yeah.
another half a month to go. I appreciate it, and like I said, as of now, it looks I have not signed anything.
Oh, fuck.
So that's why it's still kind of
Not
like
writing.
And I keep telling that to the people making me promises. Like, I need to see it on paper because this has been a wild ride.
They're like, no.
Oh, you'll have all the paper you need and more.
You just have to
You'll be
wait.
shitting paper.
Just sign here in blood
Yeah, exactly, right?
to Mephistopheles, and you'll be fine.
Mephistopheles? Is that like a philosopher or a Satan?
I thought, isn't that like a
hell
Satan
keeper?
name?
Yeah.
That's like Mephisto, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, wait,
I
that
don't
sounds
know.
like a Star Wars character.
That sounds like a
No,
porn
Mephisto's
genre.
real.
Mephisto was?
Yeah.
All right. I know my Satan lore, apparently.
This-
Know all
You've
about-
played Diablo.
Oh, yeah, I played
Can I,
Diablo. You fight all of them. So
Because there's one thing I've studied, it's the paranormal. And by that, I mean I've played a video game that was released in
Can I,
1996.
I'm an expert in the occult
I wanna
because of Diablo.
I want to shift conversation a bit to the two of you who aren't Sam about working from home.
Oh, so nice.
How glorious!
So good.
How much money are you guys saving?
Lots.
I don't drive.
oh.
I don't buy any gasoline.
Well, that's true. I never filled
my
my
car
car
insurance went way down.
Oh, I don't eat fast food anymore.
And from what I understand,
Like,
like you guys
hardly
literally,
ever.
like it's not going to go back, right? You guys just get to
I've-
work from
I've
home
just
for like
worked
the rest
from
of your
home now.
careers.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to eat Chick-fil-A like 4 times a week. And now she's keeps looking at me and I said, I don't eat fast food anymore. And she's like, man, you can't.
Every day,
I've gotten
Hell yeah.
DoorDash twice
a week.
since quarantine.
Twice a day.
Twice a day for 4 years.
Shay's whipping open the bank statements as we speak.
Yeah.
Well, say about that.
All right, maybe 3 times.
Corey, where's your printer? Just highlighting.
But no, it's great.
Yeah.
I start work
P&L.
at 7. I wake up at 6:58, roll out of bed and walk upstairs.
Yeah, this is my MO. I start work at 8. I roll out of bed at about somewhere between 7:50 and 8:15.
Holy fuck. Just always late.
I will
Well,
be
this-
sending this to your supervisor.
Yeah. Well, and so then I clock in, and then if it's a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I shower right away in the morning because I have a meeting at 9 that I have to have my camera on for.
Mm. They make you use cameras, really?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Wait, don't they have like bandwidth concerns or anything with like Are you on VPN or anything?
Yes, we're on a fancy new like Windows 10 only VPN.
Oh.
That's always on. It's like in the BIOS.
In the Bible?
Yeah, it's in the BIOS. The 11th commandment. So you don't have to connect to it. Windows just does it,
Oh.
like from the instant you boot. So you're always on that network all the time. Super cool.
So you can see everything anyone's doing.
I mean, I can't. That one's above my
You
head.
just plug an Ethernet cable into your ear.
Yeah,
And then you
I just listen. It's like the Matrix. I see the numbers.
All right, continue. What were you saying? I don't even remember.
Oh yeah, I was just saying like how chill it is. And then I stop working at some nondescript time between like 3:45 and 4:30, just whenever I feel like going.
I thought about applying for a work from home because there are work from home jobs for nurses right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is, as opposed to IT, where you're still actively using your skills and staying sharp and keeping up to date and like being good at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would be a career killer for me because I would have no patient contact or skill usage. And so I'm trying to avoid that because I know for a fact I would get way too comfy working from home. I would like it way too much.
Could you do what about like a I don't know if this interests you at all, but what like a nurse manager kind of deal? Would that work from home?
There are a few of those. I don't know that I'd like to do that.
Sure.
Because management, if there's one thing I've learned, it can be a gigantic pain in the ass.
Oh yeah.
Trying to do it from several states away.
There will be no questions.
Like, yeah.
There'll be a lot of that.
There will be no questions. But I know I'd get too comfy working from, and one day, like every good thing ends.
Yeah.
And like you let's say you have to come back into work, you won't have missed any steps. If I eventually have to go back to work and it's back to like wound dressings and assessment and all this stuff, and I've done nothing but type, go to ER 6 times a day, I'm gonna be pretty screwed.
You just got
That's
your
a good- I
fucking
wouldn't-
Band-Aid
I wouldn't-
Neosporin.
Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought about that. That's a good point.
So I'm trying to avoid the work from home meme just for that because it's not as applicable. But I
Sure.
am extremely jealous of those of you who get to do it and stay sharp in your profession because honestly, like it sounds dope as hell.
I just chill in my house, and I have I brought my desktop computer from work home, and I just have it at my desk, and so I have like a button that I push that like all of my monitors and keyboard and everything is plugged into, and when I press it, it switches between which computer is being used. So, like I press it-
KVM.
Yeah, I have a KVM. And so like I just wake up in the morning, dude, I push the button, I just have a work computer. And then as soon as I'm done, dude, press the other button, I'm on my own computer. I sit in the same chair for probably like 15 hours a day.
Oh fuck.
That's the only downside so far. Is
Yeah.
I have I'll like sit in the office chair and then I'll be done with work and then it's like, oh, I don't know, go on the internet. I want to play a game or something. It's the same
You
computer.
just swivel.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
unplug the dock.
I figured
And
out the
then-
secret, Tom.
Then I get up and I'm like, I've spent more than half the day sitting in this chair.
Yes. I'll tell you what the secret is. Stop thinking about it like work is bleeding into your home life and just let the home life bleed into your work. That's the solution.
Ass implants. That's the solution.
Yes.
More cushion for the pushing.
Because at first, because at first,
Cream filling.
at
Just
first,
Twinkies filling.
at first it was like
That's
this really
called a
weird,
callback.
There will be no questions.
At first it was this really weird like hollow feeling when I was done with work, where it's like, okay, work's done. I'm like in my house now.
You're like looking for cameras
There's
to
like
look
no-
into and
yeah,
nod into.
there's like there's no fanfare.
Camera nods back.
Yeah, there's no fanfare because it used to be like you'd be at work and you're like, man, I can't wait to get
Oh
home.
boy.
And you'd get in your car
Another
and
day,
you'd drive
another
home.
dollar.
As fast as you can.
Yeah, and you just fucking speed home. You walk in your house and you're like, like this is me now, right?
Yep.
But there's none of that anymore.
No.
It's just like, dude, I hit a button and I'm just done working now. So that's the secret. You flip that process around. Don't let work.
I have
That's a good
we're
point.
supposed to still wear like professional attire on camera.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times I have like shirts like this or like my ghost shirt on or whatever. I just have like a polo sitting to my right. I'm like, oh, time to go on camera. Throw that on quick.
Gotta dress up. Just
One day it's
in
gonna
your
come
underwear.
on halfway through changing. You're gonna have your shirt on.
I was just scratching myself.
we're in that
Had to
glorious
change out of my jizz shirt.
Oh fuck.
we're in that glorious period right now that every company experiences with any new policy where they haven't spelled out what we're supposed to wear,
How can they
and
stop?
it's going to continue working as long as no one abuses it. you know what I'm talking about?
I wear a tube top. To
Where
work.
it's like they don't
top.
codify
Mini
like what you
skirt.
have to do as long as no one abuses it. But if someone abuses it, they're gonna have to make it a rule, and the rule's gonna suck, and everyone's gonna hate it because
Yeah.
it's gonna be way more strict than what everybody was already doing before.
They just-
Still wouldn't do it.
everybody has to wear Tyvek suits.
Yeah.
They have to wear like you have to get one of those somebody who works in a garage, one of those jumpsuits with a patch with their name on it.
Yeah.
And you have to wear a hard hat at all times.
It says like Chad or something.
They
on
all say Chad.
it. Yeah.
Just buy one on Amazon. Yeah, whatever the name, Dale, whatever it says.
Dick.
Yeah,
Dick Dale and his Deltones.
Twinkie. That was for Sam.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish
I'm engaged again.
I wish my name was Twinkie.
You can change it.
You could change it. It's
Should
not
I
that hard.
All right.
Have I ever
Quick
talked on here
poll,
about?
should I change my name to Twinkie?
Yeah. Have I ever talked about
That
the?
was a short
That's a without
poll.
question. Yes. Have I ever talked about the ongoing fear that my parents had that I was gay growing up?
Go ahead.
All right. So there's two stories that.
But maybe
immediately
your
come to mind.
parents feared that you thought they were gay.
That's one of my favorite memes that I've seen in a while. It was like a picture of like a bunch of a bunch of pride flags in the background, and the caption was, "Finally told my parents they're gay." I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
No, it's like the first instance where I think where the fear was established. Because keep in mind, I was raised in a very traditional Christian home. Was when I was a little kid, I got to go to the store and I got to pick out any toy I wanted, and I picked a Polly Pocket. And if you don't know what a Polly Pocket was, it was a little thing that opened up and it was like a little dollhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and you had your little people and you moved around.
I remember the ads on Nickelodeon.
I got it because I liked to pretend that the Polly Pocket was a space shuttle and that they were going around. You know, I don't feel the need to justify it, but that's why I liked it.
How old were you? Would you say?
Probably
21.
26. No. What toy? No. I was probably like 7.
Sure.
They finally
Um,
let me out of the house.
But I didn't help myself because I would do
16
weird
years
things. And the reason I even brought this up was because I always wanted to be like a cartoonist or a video game designer. Like that was what I was always going to be growing up. And I would make characters in their games or their comics or whatever. My main character for a very long time was named Twinkle.
Okay.
Hell
Twinkle
yeah.
was a pink cloud with a Ninja Turtle band over his
That sounds
eyes.
pretty dope.
2 swords. And the way
Cloud has 2 swords.
and the way that he would turn
It's
into
raining.
it was a pretty typical superhero.
This is amazing.
The way that fuck. The way that he would become his superpower was he would jump in a hole and scream, "It's Twinkle time!"
He's not a star though. It's a
and
cloud.
a tornado would go into the hole and come out of the.
I'm gonna twinkle on you.
Oh no.
And he was a big pink cloud that would run around chopping stuff up with his sword.
Real talk
That's
though, that
pretty
sounds
dope.
like a pretty dope character.
Thank you. I sent it into Disney.
What did they say?
They wrote a letter that said we can't, like, it was like the typical form letter that was like, we can't accept outside ideas.
Sure.
We know one day you'll be a part of our team. It was really nice. It was pretty cool.
I got one of those from Nintendo.
Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
I drew I really loved instruction manuals for video games. when
Oh,
I was a
hell
kid.
yeah. Hell
Back when
yeah.
they were
when
like
those were a
nice.
thing?
I used to make those too. I know exactly where you're
So
going.
I did one
Yeah.
for a theoretical Super Mario 64 2. And my idea was it would be co-op. The other person could play as Luigi. You might know where I'm going with this, with the latest Nintendo leaks. I sent that in. They sent back a letter. I'm like 6 at this point. I barely know how to read, so my mom read it to me. Wait, did I know how to read at that point?
No.
Oh, when do you start learning how to read?
Oh, we're on 9th grade.
Yeah, that's same.
You
for
guys
me.
can read?
So I started crying because I was like,
Don't let
why
the
didn't they
priest
take
find
my
out."
why didn't they take my idea? This is a great idea. It was an angry cry.
Yeah. Of course. No, I had a lot of those.
Turns out,
Just yesterday.
motherfuckers stole my idea for the re-release on the DS, where you could just switch between Mario and Luigi, go on the warp pipes. I had, that
game.
drawing,
That was a good game.
and then lo and behold, there was supposed to be Luigi in Super Mario
Yeah, the
64.
leaks.
So
We also had
Nintendo-
your name and a credit.
yeah,
Yeah.
writer.
Tom Mickelson.
Oh, Sam, you were telling a story.
Story.
Sam, you were telling a story. I just
My
remembered.
story's pretty much done.
Well, you said there were 2 incidents. That was
The Polly
one-
Pocket was one, and the
Oh,
fact that I drew.
cloud. Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
if you want to dissect my life and pick out every moment when it was a little bit of the stereotypical making my parents afraid that we could do that, but that'd be a pretty boring episode. I just know that it ended one day. My mom found a bunch of Victoria's Secrets stockpiled under my bed,
Oh, thank God.
and she was like, "Oh, thank God."
You're grounded.
But why won't the pages open?
Are they still sealed in plastic?
Let me change out of my jizz shirt.
Hold on one second. Let me put my polo on.
Mom.
There's a button up there too, in case I need to get a little more fancy.
Is that a normal like childhood thing? Like, or actually, like,
Jizz shirts?
no, not jizz shirts. Not jizz shirts.
I thought that's what you were asking too.
All right, yeah.
And I was gonna
Everybody
be
uses socks. We all
You
know
were just
this.
gonna let that one
You
play
get
out,
athlete's
Sam?
foot
like, I was
on
gonna
your
let him
wiener.
ask, and then I was gonna have a
Athlete's
really
foot on
good
your
heart to
dick?
heart about how it is
I don't
normal.
think that's real.
How I Sam, you know how some people keep like the baby blanket? I kept my jizz shirt
Oh,
in a
God.
box with some other pictures from my childhood.
Nice.
Sam, can you
Is
get
that what you
athlete's foot
masturbate
on your dick?
You can get a form of the same basic thing on your dick.
Boom!
Absolutely.
Told you.
All right. Anyway, what I was saying was, does
Athlete dick.
every boy growing up, do they think that their parents think they're gay at some point in their life?
Oh.
Probably in the Christian community, because it was, especially if you grew up in like
The Dobson
that
eras.
that time, where like there were like the
D&D's
two
the
worst
devil.
things you could be were a straight up Satanist and gay. Like those were the two witch hunts going on at that
Seems
time.
like a fine line to balance.
Well, they weren't the same thing.
Oh, I know.
Oftentimes they fed each other.
But the gay, yeah. The gays
but-
were very much an extension of the satanic influence on
the world. It was
Yeah.
what
Oh,
they would
yeah.
say is that's the world. Like, I don't know. It was definitely a big deal, and there was a lot of concern about that in Christian families.
Because I was pretty sure my parents thought I was gay too. You think?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's happened.
Yeah. So there we are, confirmed.
Oh.
Mhm.
Beer Fairy, did you think your parents thought you were gay? All right.
Are you?
She's
Just a
open.
little bit.
Don't know. All right.
High five.
Back off, ladies. She's
you know what
mine.
that means. Let me change out of my jizz shirt.
That's 3.
That's 3. That's all I get.
That's too many. You get one.
I just really want that image to be very clear in people's minds.
That you cut your hand trying to put it on.
Oh God.
Pick it up, it's still folded.
It weighs like 7 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
You can't light it on
Jesus
fire
Christ.
if you wanted to.
At night, you can hear,
Inflammable.
kill me.
It moves.
Yeah. You put it on one side of the room, and then you wake up the next morning, it's on the other side of the room.
It's next to your face.
It's like, did any of you see The Secret World of Alex Mack on
no.
Nickelodeon a million
No.
years ago? It was
No.
this girl that could transform into a big
Just
glue
shirt.
pile. It was a little racy for the 90s.
That's pretty
Superman,
spicy.
Spider-Man, jizz shirt.
It's just a guy that's completely naked and he has this jizz shirt tied around his neck as a cape.
Oh, no.
You know, he'd have it-
It looks like he's always flying because, of course, the shirt is completely rigid, outstretched behind him.
Sheer.
Look how fast he is.
Done under 6 seconds.
It's twinkle time.
Faster than a flying cum shot.
He has 2 swords.
He's a clown. He says it's twinkle time. Oh boy. This is a new low.
I want to make a point of this. Everyone that complains we talk about video games too much. This is what you
It's
get
actually true.
when we don't talk about video games.
I
so
hope
think
you're
carefully
happy.
before you complain again.
Can't wait for the title.
Oh yeah. What are we gonna call
It's
this?
twinkle
shit?
time.
Twinkle time. Yeah, I guess that would probably be it. Either that or like. No, that's really the only thing. I'm not going to call it jizz shirt. Somehow I think that
What
would-
about cisgert?
cis
Cis
shirt.
scum.
Cis,
Yeah.
cis
Cis shirt.
cyst white male.
This is the podcast that the LBGT community is warning everyone about.
Well, we covered. I would say we pretty tastefully covered the gays.
You know, the gays.
Yeah.
Good God.
Oh my God. Cancel
No,
culture.
not-
One day, one of us is going to try to amount to something, and cancel
No.
culture is
I've
going to
given up hope
destroy
on-
us.
I'm well past that point.
Okay, all I said
I
was
want you to replace
the
any
gays.
ethnic group with what you just said.
I wouldn't put gay people on the same. It's not the same thing as talking
Careful.
about-
Careful. Careful.
It's not the same thing as
Well,
talking
you
about
could say
ethnic
Easy
groups.
now.
You could say the Jews.
It's all about how you can.
Well, that's the Louis C.K.
You can
thing,
say
yeah.
the
True,
Jews.
that is the Louis C.K. But you can
Is that
say,
a Louis C.K.
You can
bit?
say Jews or you can say Jews,
Oh,
and that's two completely different things.
Yeah.
that's like our church rents out to the Jewish community.
She's a Jew. Oh yeah, she's a Jew.
Our church rents out to the Jewish community. They do services when we're not there and stuff like that. And they mess up our sound system a lot. And they change
What
and
are you
move things
trying to
around.
say?
And we'll oftentimes, like, unironically, we'll be like, oh man, the Jews messed with our stuff.
Holy shit.
Leaving their dreidels everywhere. This is getting out of control.
Why does it sound so bad? It must have been the Jews.
Covered in bagel crumbs.
Went to the bathroom. I found a jar of mulkey.
They've been dreidling in the bathroom.
Sorry to our Jewish listeners. We love the Jews.
We love the Jews.
We love
Don't say it.
Jewish people.
Thank you. Tom does a very good Jewish voice.
No, I don't. That's I don't even know what they
it a
sound.
malicious-
They sound like something specific. What are you trying to say?
I don't know. Let's ask the many hours of impersonations.
Who did that?
I thought it was
Seinfeld
you.
is Jewish. He's not impersonating a Jewish person. He's actually Jewish. If that's what you're referring to.
Okay,
It turns out.
Here's what I'm saying.
Yep.
If you took every Jewish person and you ran their voices through like an AI and composed like the average Jewish voice, it would sound distinct.
You know what that sounds a lot like?
What's that?
Collecting Jewish people.
Oh, god damn.
It's basically the AI Holocaust is what I'm advocating.
Oh, Lord. We could be talking about Halo right
we
now.
should get the
people.
hell out of here.
We could be talking about
Fucking twinkle time.
I'm looking around.
We could have talked about Ghost of Sushi for like
Yeah.
another 3 hours.
I'm looking around desperately for the nearest exit off of this conversation highway, and I cannot. It's like 14 miles
Okay,
away.
well here's what
I
here's
think it
next
ends at
exit.
AI Holocaust.
Here's
I
a
think that's
300
where you
miles.
go.
here's a topic.
Okay, go for it.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's a beer.
It sure is.
They won 1 blue ribbon, and they've been riding that reputation since 1858 or whenever the hell
They're
they
not
won
lying.
That's why they call me Sam Runner-Up Spelling Bee.
it. Yeah, do they call you that?
Do you think would they have to have won a blue ribbon to call it that? Couldn't anyone have just started a beer and called it Blue Ribbon?
Well, what you do is you start making beer, then you make your own fair, and you say there's going to be a
There
beer
you
competition,
go.
and then you give yourself a blue ribbon.
It's pretty poor taste to win a competition at a fair that you set up.
Well, who cares? If you can put blue ribbon on your can,
It'd
and
be like
people
if,
just believe you.
it would be like if Tim Walsh showed up to the Minnesota State Fair and won like the pie eating contest or something.
And he has like one slice.
Yeah.
Just like a normal piece of pie.
sensible
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a fan of coconut cream.
I have a talking
Can't eat
point.
anymore. It goes straight to my thighs.
Uh-oh.
It's not a very good one, but
What?
I have a talking point. I was thinking about this. Which album is the song Numb on
Numb?
by Linkin Park? Which
That'd
album?
be Meteora.
Is it Meteora? Or
Guess
is it?
it. I want answers.
I literally
I thought it was
Which
one
one?
before Meteora.
Nope, it's Meteora.
I have to opt
Don't-
out of this because I literally can't
What?
name a single Linkin Park album.
Tom? Which
the
album?
one before Meteora.
I also
Theory?
Hybrid Theory. It is not
Also-
Hybrid Theory. It's Meteora.
Eric, I know you're listening to this. I'm very sorry.
He's probably ripping his hair
I
out
know
right
you're
now,
very
just screaming
I know
at the
you're very
computer.
disappointed in me, okay? And
Jay?
I can feel it from the past. I can feel it right now.
Is it on Hybrid Theory or Meteora? What?
Eric
Meteora
is,
has
in,
a
Brown
robot, the
and
Gundam
gray.
on it.
Eric is in a time machine from the future yelling at us in this moment right now. I
Wait,
can hear him.
No, the remix album had the robot on it.
The remix album was the best.
You're thinking
one.
of Fort Minor
No, there was the remix. There was the remix of the Hybrid Theory, and that was a fantastic album.
with Jay-Z?
No, that was another thing.
That was
came out.
Collision Course.
Yeah, that was a whole other thing. No, there's a remix, Reanimation. It's called.
Oh, yeah.
And I know
That's
that
the
album
one.
very well because I snuck it out of Target down my pants because that was what I wasn't allowed to own. Secular.
Right.
Wait, so
sites.
did you pay for it or you just...
Oh, I paid for it. I bought it. I was a good kid.
You buying stole it.
I used to do that all the time. I would buy things that I wasn't supposed to have, then I'd stuff it down my pants.
So
Hell
Tom thinks
yeah.
Hybrid Theory. Sam says Meteora. It's actually Meteora. I thought it was on Hybrid Theory.
Nope.
I thought it was too.
Now, which one's better album?
Ooh, Hybrid
Ooh.
Theory for sure.
Whichever one has... This is the end.
Yeah, it was Hybrid Theory.
That's the one. It's been downhill since then. Sorry, Eric.
Meteora was almost as good.
Almost. But yeah, I would say if you take half the songs from each album, you would have the ultimate
Yeah,
album.
for sure. I would agree with that. But if I could only have one Linkin Park album, I would actually choose Reanimation, to tell you the truth. I think that's a great record. But if we're just doing main releases, then
Yep.
Hybrid Theory. for
It's
sure.
rare that a remix album is.
Rip Chester.
It has to be a
almost
band
as
like Linkin
good.
Park.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're like this weird, like,
Because that was like the first. They had a very mainstream like image that they had to uphold, and it had to be like the butt rock with like the scratching records. You know, that was basically with a little bit of
They
rap.
had the DJ.
But they were so immensely talented. They were an incredibly talented group. And Reanimation was when they were allowed to be like weird. And Linkin Park, for the most part, until they got old and very depressed,
Because they sold out to Disney.
they were a ton of fun when they were being weird.
Disney. Is there a Linkin Park land at Disney?
There might as well be. But like whenever
A
like a
roller
band
coaster?
sells out, I say they got Disneyed.
You got Disney,
Like
boy.
AFI.
Yeah, have you listened to the whole AFI catalog now?
I have not. I made it to was it Songs of Sorrow?
Wait a minute. We have to talk about that.
AFI?
You listen to the entire Papa Roach
Oh yeah, we do need to
discography.
talk about that. You poor soul.
I started working on like an article for the page, and then I stopped after the first album because it's like I had to relive my tragedy all over again.
So make it very clear what you did. Really make explain what we're talking about.
All right, so God, I don't even know why I started listening to every single album of what the fuck. Every single album that
No wonder
Papa
they thought we
Roach
were gay.
has put out that's on Spotify.
I never said I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. Did I just wake up one day and say I'm going
It
to
was.
listen?
I don't know if it was a decision you made before you were in the chat.
I think you said in the chat, what would you do if I listened to the entire Papa Roach discography?
Oh, yeah.
in one
Something like
day,
that.
and I was.
In one
it was
day.
supposed to be in one day.
It was.
Is it even? How many
took
albums? How
4.
many studio?
You would have been a
albums?
hero.
12.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
They're
We'll say, like,
prolific.
We'll say like 12 4-minute songs an album, something like that. Like that's a lot of music.
It's a ton. But I bet you I could do it if I wasn't working because I'm constantly on
Yeah,
calls
sure,
because I'm
sure.
help desk. So that's why it took 4 days instead of just one day. So I listened to it from chronological order from the first album all the way up to their latest album and their newest single over the course of 4 days.
And what did your research find?
That Jacoby Shaddix likes to smell his own farts.
All right.
Is it really pretentious? Would you say the music's really pretentious?
Yeah, especially in the second half.
Because I don't like no Papa Roach deep cuts. I know they're radio singles.
Yeah, same.
That's the thing that I've come like
I've
that
had
is
no
their
desire
only
to go past that.
I don't know their oeuvre. I don't know their message or their theme.
No, that's it. I mean, if you heard it on the radio, that's the
theme.
only songs that they have that are
What
actually
is the
worth
theme
listening to.
of Papa
Well, like
Roach?
Linkin Park, right? I'm depressed, and it turned out that
Yeah.
he really was.
What
which
would you
is
say?
really
What
sad.
is the most common, theme or backdrop or like what is the average Papa
Money.
Roach song about?
Falling down and getting back up.
Okay.
I get knocked down. And I get up again.
You never keep me down.
That's like the stereotypical like Volbeat like butt rock kind of
Yeah.
like that's what that's about.
Yeah.
I can see that. 5-Finger Death Punch like that kind of.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, pretty much.
Ghost has one song like that.
I thought that was just like the middle finger song.
Every day that you
Yeah.
feed me with
Oh, shit.
hate,
Yeah.
I grow
That was like the middle
stronger.
finger to the people that were suing him at the time.
Yeah,
Oh.
He wrote that directly to them.
for being on world tour. Making
Sorry, I don't know the
minimum wage.
Ghost lore. I just know the Ghost album.
Can you imagine how bad would it feel to be like to go to like Moscow and Copenhagen and London and like you're playing all these like sold out shows in Madison Square Garden
For
and
minimum wage.
you make like $80.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like I've thought about that so many times. Like everybody would want to do that once.
Sure.
Like if you offered me a world
I
tour,
would pay
Yeah.
a retarded amount of money to do that once.
like I'm down to do that once, right?
Yeah.
The second time, you're gonna want to be making more.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like I totally sympathize with both sides of it, and he did screw them over, like pretty rough.
Sure.
They did sign it though, but whatever.
So did he win then? They signed it.
I have no
I
idea.
haven't looked it up lately.
I don't know. I don't really care that much. Like I do feel bad for the musicians and I like they did get fucked. But like that doesn't really
I would be really hyped if the original group was coming back to
Yeah,
record
same.
because I think that they all added
The
their own
sound
individual.
was-
it doesn't
like,
really chart with me.
better
Like I
than-
don't care that much. Like I'll still keep listening to it. It's not like, oh, I can't listen to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like
Unless
fake
they-
outrage when I find out that the music industry is corrupt.
Yeah,
because,
I
come
don't
on.
have. I don't have
Like-
like this. I don't have some like. I'm not on some moral crusade where I need to like just cut it out of my life because I think the guy's a scumbag or something. Like, I think it was a pretty
Like,
dirty.
oh, the
move,
guy that
but-
likes to dress up like the Pope of Satan isn't a great guy. Like, am I supposed to be like surprised by this?
How bad would Ghost have to screw up for you to stop listening to them?
Pedophile.
I would say
Pedophile?
That would definitely. I think pedophile. Like you gotta.
That might do
What
it.
if it?
I have a question. I want to get real. It comes out that he's a diddler, like hardcore. Okay, it comes. It's out
I already
there.
know what you're gonna say.
Photographic proof. Okay, it's undeniable.
Oh, Jesus.
It's time stamped like
Yeah,
Reddit.
it's like for whatever
It's
reason.
like Chris Hansen to Catch a Predator. Tobias walks in and he's like, "Where are the kids?"
He's a diddler. Like
Where are
that's
the kids?
established. Okay. A new single comes out.
Oh,
I listened
All
to
the
it.
reviews
Let
you
me-
read
Sam,
are that it's the best song that's
Sam,
ever
let me
like
tell
come
you
out
the
of their.
story of a band called As I Lay Dying.
Oh yes.
Is this the guy that went to jail for like murdering his wife?
So, As I
I heard
Lay
a
Dying was
Hitman.
a Christian metal band. They put out like 4 albums, I think.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. Like,
They're
and not
Christian
just by
metal
like, but not by just Christian standards, Christian music standards.
I gotta stop listening to it.
And then after their 4th
Well,
album,
you can
the
hear
real
what they're
line.
saying anyways.
That's the real line.
yeah, after their 3rd or 4th album, the lead singer Tim Limbasis gets caught in an FBI sting trying to hire a hitman to murder his wife.
Estranged wife.
Okay, trying to hire a hitman to murder someone.
It's not a big deal, but I
that?
do want to point out because I like to keep track of this. This is probably the 3rd time we've talked about this on the podcast.
Whatever.
Not a
Okay,
big
well
deal.
then why did everybody react with surprise when we brought it up again?
I didn't. I immediately said, "Is that the guy that tried to kill his wife?"
Okay, fine. I'll tell the short version. He releases this big statement when after he gets arrested about how like the Christian thing was always super cynical. Christians are the only people who buy music and they never really meant any of it. And
Kind of like
whatever.
that South Park episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he gets out of jail. I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years later, something. What it's close to that, whatever the number is. And they release a new album and it's dope. And they go on tour, and I saw him
I saw him too.
diddling. I think diddling.
I don't
I think
think so.
kids is the line. Diddling kids.
So that's my question.
I wouldn't go to a show.
The new
to see
Ghost,
a dude who
the new
diddled
Ghost single comes out.
kids. There's no way.
Would you listen to the new album?
Would you listen to the album? That was my question.
I might.
Because then you're supporting him.
Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to your faces
Yeah.
and say that I wouldn't listen to it.
But you feel bad about it.
Sure.
No, you torrent it. No support given.
Well, I mean, you listen to us. Oh, sure, Spotify. Even then, you're
Yeah, but
giving
you were
10
gonna do that
cents.
anyways. So what's the
Yeah.
difference?
What do you mean? Well, I was going to do that anyways. What are you
Oh.
accusing me of?
You know exactly what I'm accusing.
Oh,
you of.
we're gonna lose the
You're
recording.
accusing. Hang on.
Yo. Can we should save this just in case what we have so far because the power is flickering.
The laptop.
What does that mean? Save
It
the
has a-
project files. Just
Be
pause
right
it.
back.
Storm
Be
blowing
right
in.
back. And we're back. Hey.
We had to save because God is raining His fury down
Yeah,
on
there's
our
a
gay
storm rolling in.
podcast.
And the lights are flickering, and I'm very nervous.
I just got a text from my sister that says there's a tornado in Cromwell.
Oh shit,
That's
Literally
not far from
where?
Colquitt.
Cromwell.
Cloak it.
Colquitt.
Isn't that the game they play with the little wooden hammers?
No, that's
Okay.
Crockett.
Okay, thank you.
I love hearing people that don't live around here try to pronounce cloquet.
Cloquet.
I'm cloquet. Cloquet.
Clockwet. Yeah, Clockwet.
Cloquois?
Clock.
Quebecois?
Clocky.
Clicky.
Would you listen to it, Sam?
I'm not gonna pretend like I wouldn't. I would feel bad about it.
I would feel worse the better it was.
Yeah.
If it came out and it was like Milleriah 2,
Yeah.
I'd feel really bad.
Like that. That's why
because there's no way I would only listen to it one time.
I'm not gonna lie about it either. Like I would feel awful. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't not be on my mind.
Yes.
But there's absolutely no way that I wouldn't listen to it.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, I'm just being as realistic as
Yeah.
I can. Like I wouldn't go around telling people, "Yo, you should listen to this new." Like
I would
no way.
not go to another show. I feel
I
pretty
think that's the
confident
same.
about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. If it was
I would not
like,
go to another
confirmed,
show.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't he be in jail if it was confirmed?
There are loopholes in the system that doesn't change the question.
also, you know, you like where he's from, Sweden. You know, those
Anything
they
goes
go to
there.
jail
Oh yeah,
like
they're crazy.
5-6 years, and they're just out again, living in the world.
Here's a Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
Go sit in the corner. And once you solve it, you can
Play
leave.
through Skyrim and the DLC.
Yeah. You have to beat
You have-
on
you
guard.
have to play as a
and then you
Nord.
solve the Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
And then you can leave.
The Thundercliffs. Throw yourself upon the Thundercliffs.
Is that Norseman show?
Yeah, it would
don't know.
be very morally convenient if it came out and it was just dog shit, like
Yeah,
just
that'd
the
be
worst
amazing.
music ever.
Then it'd be really easy to take
yeah,
that high
it'd be
ground.
very- yeah.
That's why the question is, what if it was amazing? Like, what do you do with that?
That's like
Nobody wants to support a child diddler.
No.
that's like Lost Prophets. Used to be my favorite band ever.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened to the lead singer of that?
No.
No,
actually.
not Lost Prophets. No.
Oh, he was convicted of like raping a literal baby.
Oh, good
What
God!
the
What?
fuck?
Yeah, I know. So I cannot even think about. They used to be like my favorite band in high school. I loved Lost
Damn.
Prophets so much.
That's like super dark.
Yeah,
What the? Fuck?
it's like beyond fucked. So
Ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
fuck that guy. Fuck that
Man.
band.
That's one of those phrases that just puts like it's like when the virus window pops up on your Internet Explorer.
Yeah, and you're like, oh shit.
and you can't close it fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delete.
You're like, I do not want to go there in my brain. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Brand new. I mean, we've talked about that on here before too. I don't want to
Yep.
Do we?
revisit stuff, but that's a band that I have trouble listening to now, knowing that they were diddling.
What's with all the diddlers in this
and
world?
daddling. It's these young
How
guys.
hard is it to not diddle?
We shouldn't let people get that rich and famous at like 18 years old. It'd be confusing enough. You know what I mean?
That's like the Bill Burr. There's a great Bill Burr bit about Tiger Woods. It was like all these after it came out, he was cheating on his wife. Like all these people getting on television with like their jowls flopping around,
yeah.
going like absolutely morally reprehensible behavior. Like they know what it's like to just finish the 18th hole like 25 under par, and there's like a school bus full of Swedish supermodels who want to
Yeah.
bang your brains out.
I always try to balance that out in my head, like not to the extent of raping a baby. I would say that.
I'm glad
I
we
would
brought
say
it up
that's,
again.
that's probably
God,
like,
I would hope not.
I would say that there's no part of me that thinks like I've never been 18 and famous. Like it has an ending point, right?
Yeah.
But like as far as like the 17-year-old super attractive girl trying to flash me on video chat back in like 2002 when I just got famous at 18 years and 1 month,
Yeah.
you know, that's not a situation I've ever been in. I'd like to think, especially since I was a big time Christian kid back then, I probably would have been like, we should stop and pray.
I mean,
Please.
people
Cover your sin.
people think.
Over your sin.
People-
Just said.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like to think like this, like about the ghost conversation too, or like the hypothetical situation. People like to think that they're good just because they've never been in a situation where they could be bad,
Right.
and they think that's the same thing, and it's not the same thing. Those are very different. Like you, one example, I was talking with this about someone earlier, or talking about this with someone earlier, where it's like you see like the riots that happen after someone's sports team like wins a title or something. You know,
Right.
like someone like in Canada, like
The
win
Eagles.
they win a Stanley Cup and they just trash the whole city. And like you see news cameras like stuck in the face of the people who were like flipping cop cars over the day before, and they were like, "What were you thinking?" And they were like, "I don't know. I just kind of got caught up in the moment."
Mob mentality.
Here's what I feel. Here's where I feel good about it, though. Right now, there's a bunch of protests happening all over America, and people are running their cars into these protests and running people over. I drove by a Trump rally today and did not run anybody over.
Proud
So-
of you,
I'm
proud of
so
you, bud.
proud.
So
But you could have.
I could have. You're right.
You
The
could have
truth-
ended it all.
I'm holding coffee.
My daughter was in the back seat.
I'm trying to clap.
Strap in.
You would have made. She would have gone to prison. She would have been an accessory.
Oh man, could you imagine?
Give me your money.
How's the lawn chair?
Terrible.
Is
Yeah.
it worse
It-
than the?
It is
kitchen
worse
chair?
than the stool.
You could switch it any time. You know that.
No, I've got a point to
You're
prove to
committed
myself.
I should buy more furniture.
You
That's what I
should.
should do.
You won't.
No, hell no. Do you know how much time? If we're gonna just take all the rooms of my house and split up how much time I spend in each one, this one is
The least.
well below 1% of my time. It's like
You should move your TV.
it's like 60% office, 30% bedroom, and like 7% drum room, and the rest is bathroom.
Yeah.
I spend no time in my living room. My PS4 is not here. Nothing I use is in here.
Router.
Don't you watch
That's
the
a
telly?
fair point.
Don't you watch the telly?
Not really.
On his phone.
Whenever I do watch something, it is here because I have like Plex and stuff set up. That's what that computer is right there. That's got like everything in my house running on it.
That
But,
the server?
yeah.
That you won't let us have access to?
No, that one's in a data center in Duluth.
Which
I
one?
don't own that one. You can have access to this one. That's fine.
Is that the D's Nuts server?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I can't. I'm not. I don't own that one, so I can't give anybody access to it.
You have a stake though. You're a stockholder.
I own my stake in it.
Petition. I will throw in a drive,
It's like, I mean,
and I will also rat on you guys to the FCC.
to the police. I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing we do is illegal. And
Yeah,
we
I know.
should change the subject.
I just think it's funny. We'll cut this part out.
I don't care.
Oh, all right.
All right.
You heard that, Trump. He said it. He wants you to come after him with the full force of the law.
The long dig of the law.
I just want to say that I've always loved Donald Trump, and if you're listening to this, I think you're absolutely wonderful.
He's going to be so offended by
And
that.
there's nothing to see with a server that may or may not be in a data center.
This is a witch hunt.
He just winks at you.
Sad.
It doesn't have any of Hillary's emails on it. Don't worry about it.
Your
Don't worry about
princess
Cody.
is in another
We've all
castle.
raped a few babies, okay?
Oh my god.
am
That's
not-
3.
Stop it.
That's 3.
This episode used to be fun. We had some good laughs. It was twinkle time.
Yeah.
Now it's been too much twinkle time.
The twinkle time has turned sour.
We've
is what
over-twinkled
happened.
it.
Sam really likes twinkles and twinks and twinkies and
Cream filling.
yeah.
Yeah, that really. That's like just in this episode we've discovered that's like a common theme throughout your life is
Yeah.
the word twink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had twinkle.
Before it was cool.
You referenced Twinkies.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you also referenced twinks. So like
Don't read too much into it.
Like you
Yeah.
have a high
Don't be
level
like Sam's
character
mom.
and you
Tom,
give
look
really
at me in
good
the
shit
eyes.
to a low
Yes.
level
Read
character.
exactly the right amount.
So that way they can just
Okay.
dominate in the
I will.
arena.
what are you saying?
That's for anybody
He's
else that
talking
was
about-
listening to
he's
the other
talking about
stuff.
The Twink Arena where they all fight each other.
Gladiator?
Yeah.
I would watch that show.
My name is Twinkleus Twinkarius, son of a Twinkie dad. Father of an orphan twink.
I am Gladius Twink.
Husband of a murdered bear. I'm done.
The Spaniard.
Oh, God.
The Twinkard.
Oh shit!
What'd you say?
The sky's on fire out there.
Oh, look at it. Holy crap.
That's how you know it's getting real.
We're getting tornadoes.
What time are we at?
Tornado time.
Probably
like
about time to
hour and a
wrap it
half.
up.
Yeah.
It is, hour 25 right now.
Time
It'll
for
be cut down a little bit.
Hellpoint.
Time for what did we learn today?
Ask him the question. I didn't forget.
I didn't forget either.
Yeah.
But what I actually learned today is that Tom is so racist, he culturally appropriates the Martians from the future.
That is pretty racist.
I learned that I want to be Sam's Greenfield Twink.
Oh fuck!
There will be no more questions.
You're not the first, and you won't be the last.
Damn
my
it.
friend.
You can't take both. All
Get
right.
fucked.
I learned. Oh, jeez. I learned. I learned that it's probably not a worthwhile endeavor to listen to the entire Papa Roach discography in one day.
It's not. I took that.
I
bullet
do-
for you.
You know.
I do commend it. It is
you.
respectable.
I
Jack took
appreciate
a
it.
bullet for us on that
Yeah.
one. He died on that cross.
I did. I sacrificed myself. I am a
I like
martyr.
how I was
He
like,
dove
I'm
on-
going to do it too, and then I never listened to a single song.
Yeah, he dove on that grenade for us.
Ah!
I learned that my favorite superhero is Twinkle.
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 It's Twinkle time!
He's
you say purple cloud or pink cloud?
It was
Pink.
Pink.
How dare you?
That was
Ninja
just-
mask.
I'm clarifying.
2 swords.
I said there
Tornado.
will be no more questions, Dakota.
No more questions.
No more questions.
I'll draw. He's really easy to draw. I'll draw a picture exactly how he looked. If you want
Please
to post
do.
it on the
I
site.
think I've
Make it a
actually
thumbnail.
seen. Didn't you post that on Facebook at some point?
Probably, yeah.
I remember seeing that.
Bob
I
spin
wish
the
I saw
twinkle
that one.
cloud.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
As always,
So
tell a
for-
friend. Probably not this episode. Maybe refer him to one of our earlier
I actually think
ones.
this was a funny one.
I think it was too.
You know what
But
the
it just gave our listenership, as it seems right now, is like, wow, it's really orange outside.
The sky is exploding for you audio listeners out there.
So- out there taking
one real
pictures.
quick side note. I bet both of you, well, you went to Maranatha, so I bet this could relate to you. During big storms, when you were like hard into
When you
the
were
super
hard.
cultish
Yeah.
style, did you think it was the Rapture?
No, not storms. To this day, if I walk into a house that's empty and I don't think it should be, like if I'm expecting people home,
This is
and
clothes on the floor.
You're like, I'm the last one.
that was the rapture.
Yeah.
There
I
it is.
missed it.
There it is.
God damn it!
But storms, I never really thought of. No, anytime the moon is like a little like a harvest moon, like
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah,
red.
Like red, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Then you're like,
oh.
Oh yeah,
I'm listening for
that's the real
horns.
shit.
Yep.
No, that's just God smiling.
That's just God's promise never to flood the earth again.
I thought that was
Yeah.
rainbows.
Easy.
That is what that is.
Yeah.
Both. Like, why? You can be both.
The
Nope.
sun shining through the clouds is what creates the rainbow. I mean,
Right.
I
We're
saw a
not supposed to know
moon
that
bow
it's
the other
magic.
day. On my way to the cabin, there was a moon bow.
that's cool.
Literally a rainbow at night. It was
That's pretty
insane.
cool. What is it? No, that's called a halo, right?
No, it's like a moon. I think it's called moon bow. Look it up.
Moonbow sounds like a
Like
Magic
a sweet
the
Dark
Gathering
Souls weapon.
card.
Speaking of Dark Souls, I have Hellboy
Hey,
to
I
play.
distinctly remember ending this podcast.
As always,
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, go down the street, tell your mother, tell your grandmother, tell your mother's mother, tell your mother's sister.
And don't diddle any kids.
That's the biggest
Please.
message.
Yeah, don't.
Please.
Please, God.
It's not hard.
I think that's one thing I could say. You will never have to have that with us. Like, you'll never have to like make the horrible decision
Yeah.
of having to listen to us.
The
or
greatest
support,
talk shop
like child
episode.
diddlers. Like, none of us do that, so don't do it either. It's that easy, right?
right?
Simple.
Pretty easy. You just don't do something.
Yeah. You know how easy it is to not do something?
Take care of
I
yourself.
don't do things all the time.
You know, you don't always need somebody else. Just take care of yourself.
Get a cum shirt. Oh, I brought it back.
That was
Thank
4
you.
times.
Close it out.
Yeah,
The end.
that's not
Nobody
funny.
expects the fourth one.